You know that feeling when your paycheck hits and it's already gone before you even touch it? Rent, groceries, insurance, subscriptions, nothing left. You're not broke, but you're not safe either. Most people think saving money is about cutting back on coffee or skipping takeout. And sure, those things help a little, but the real shift happens when you hit a specific number, around $20,000. That's when money starts working differently. Not because the amount is magical, but because of what it does to your brain, your choices, and the options you suddenly have. This isn't about getting rich. It's about finally having room to breathe. And once you understand why this number matters, you'll see money completely differently. Here's what nobody talks about when they tell you to just save more. Most Americans are living in what I call the emergency loop. Something breaks, you pay for it, you're back to zero. Then something else breaks. You pay for it again. You never actually move forward because life keeps pulling you back. It's not that people are bad with money. It's that they're stuck in a system where one surprise wipes out weeks of progress. A car repair costs $800. A medical bill shows up for $1,200. Your landlord raises rent by $200 a month. These aren't rare events. They happen to everyone. And when you don't have savings, every single one becomes a crisis. You put it on a credit card. You borrow from family. You skip other bills and hope nothing else goes wrong. The stress isn't just financial, it's mental. You can't think long term when you're constantly putting out fires. And that's the trap. You stay focused on surviving this month, which means you never build anything that could change next year. $20,000 isn't enough to retire or buy a house or quit your job, but it's enough to break the emergency loop. Here's why. Most of the financial disasters that destroy progress cost between $500 and $5,000. A blown transmission, an emergency room visit, getting laid off and needing to cover rent while you find something new. When you have $20,000 saved, those things stop being disasters. They're just annoying. You pay for them and move on. Your life doesn't fall apart, and that shift changes everything. You stop making decisions out of fear. You don't stay at a job you hate just because you're terrified of a gap in income. You don't say yes to overtime you don't want because you're scared of your credit card bill. You're not rich, but you're not fragile anymore. And that's when you start actually building wealth. Because wealth isn't about how much you make, it's about how much room you have to make smart choices. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, every choice is a bad choice. You take the loan with the higher interest rate because you need the money today. You stay in the expensive apartment because you can't afford the upfront cost of moving. You keep the car that's draining you in repairs because you can't buy a different one. $20,000 doesn't solve all of that, but it gives you enough space to stop choosing the expensive option every single time. Money has this weird psychological effect that most people don't notice until it happens to them. When your bank account is low, you think about money constantly. Every purchase feels heavy. You check your balance multiple times a day. You worry about what's coming next. It's exhausting. But when you have a cushion, something shifts. You stop obsessing. Not because you stop caring, but because you're not in survival mode anymore. And that mental space is valuable. You start thinking about opportunities instead of emergencies. You notice when your company posts an internal job that pays more. You have the confidence to negotiate your salary because you're not desperate. You can take a weekend to visit a friend in another city without spiraling about the cost. It sounds small, but that's the point. Financial stress isn't just about big disasters. It's about the constant low-level hum of worry that follows you everywhere. And when that goes away, you think clearer. You make better decisions. You stop reacting and start planning. That's not something you can fake. You can't just decide to feel less stressed about money. The stress goes away when the actual risk goes away. And $20,000 is usually enough to make that happen. Here's where it gets interesting. Once you hit $20,000, saving the next 20 happens faster. And it's not because you're suddenly making more money. It's because you stop losing money to emergencies. Think about it. If you're saving $500 a month, but losing $300 to some unexpected expense every other month, you're only really saving $200. It takes forever. But when you have a cushion, those emergencies don't wipe out your progress anymore. You cover them from your buffer and keep moving. Your actual savings rate stays consistent. $500 becomes $6,000 a year. And that's real accumulation. You also start avoiding avoiding expensive mistakes. You don't overdraft your account and pay $35 fees. You don't miss a credit card payment and get hit with interest. You don't take out a payday loan at 400% interest because you're $200 short on rent. All of those things cost money, and when you're broke, they happen all the time. When you have savings, they almost never happen. So you're not just saving more, you're losing less. And over time, that gap gets bigger. The psychological momentum builds too. Hitting 20,000 proves to yourself that you can do it. That's huge. Most people don't believe they're capable of saving significant money until they've actually done it. And once you do, you start believing the next goal is possible too. 40,000 doesn't seem insane anymore. It's just 20,000 twice, and you already know how to do it once. Let's be honest, saving $20,000 is hard, especially if you're starting from zero. But it's not impossible, and it doesn't require some dramatic life change. It requires consistency and a few smart choices that add up over time. The first thing is tracking where your money actually goes, not because you need to feel guilty about spending, but because most people genuinely don't know. They think they spend $400 a month on food, but it's actually $700. They forget about subscriptions they don't use. They underestimate how much they're spending on convenience. You don't need a fancy app. You just need to look at 3 months of bank statements and see the truth. Once you know where it's going, you can decide where to cut without making yourself miserable. The second thing is automating savings before you see the money. If you're trying to save what's left at the end of the month, you'll save nothing. There's never anything left. But if $200 moves to savings the day your paycheck hits, you adjust. You make it work. It's the same amount of money, but the order matters. Start small if you need to. $50, $100, whatever doesn't break you. Then increase it every time you get a raise or pay off a debt. The third thing is protecting yourself from yourself. If your savings account is linked to your checking account and you can transfer money instantly, you will. Open a high-yield savings account at a different bank, somewhere it takes a day or two to move money. That friction is enough to stop you from raiding it for things that aren't actual emergencies. And fourth, find one big win. Most people try to save by cutting $10 here and there, and it's painful because you feel deprived constantly. But if you can find one significant change, it's easier. Move to a cheaper apartment and save $300 a month. Refinance your car loan and save $100. Cancel the gym membership you don't use and save $50. Pick up a side gig one weekend a month and add $300. One big change creates momentum. 10 tiny cuts just create frustration. Once you hit 20,000, the question becomes, what do you do next? And this is where a lot of people mess up. They finally feel safe, so they spend it. They take a trip, they buy something they've wanted for years, they loosen up. And I get it. You worked hard. You deserve to enjoy it. But if you spend it, you're back to zero. The emergency loop starts again. The smarter move is to protect the 20 and build on top of it. Keep it as your emergency fund. Let it sit there doing nothing except making you sleep better at night. Then start a separate savings goal. Maybe it's a down payment on a house. Maybe it's investing in index funds. Maybe it's saving for a career change or starting a business. The point is, the 20,000 stays untouched unless something truly catastrophic happens. Everything else gets built separately. And now that you know how to save, the next goals come faster. You're not starting over, you're stacking. That's how real wealth gets built. Not by hitting one big number and stopping, but by hitting one number, protecting it, and then going after the next one. It's boring, it's not flashy, but it works. And 5 years from now, you'll look back at the moment you saved your first 20,000 and realize that was the turning point. Not because 20,000 changed your life, but because it changed how you thought about money. And that change is permanent. Everything shifts when you finally have space between you and disaster. You stop reacting and start deciding. You stop avoiding risk and start taking the smart ones. You stop feeling stuck and start building options. $20,000 doesn't make you rich, but it makes you free enough to start moving in the direction you actually want to go. And that's worth more than people realize. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today.